to this plenary talk entitled Responsive Teaching in Early Language Learning Education. We have the pleasure and honor to have today with us Professor Mila Schwartz from Oranim College of Education at Haifa, Israel. It's Professor Mila Schwartz. She's Vice Rector for Research at her university, as well as she is a very well-known researcher in the field of early multilingual education. So, Professor, the floor is yours. Thanks for being in this border city.
Thank you so much. Thank you, dear Beatrice, Professor Beatrice Martina Perez, for inviting me to participate in this conference. Thank you for audience. I'm very glad to be. I am both teacher and researcher, and today I will talk about teachers and how we can empower teachers to work with linguistically and culturally diverse children. So first of all, let's start from my presentation and from what is schedule of our talk today, what I'm going to address today. We are in the very changeable world, and our world is full of transitions from one country to another. Many children in our classroom coming from diverse cultural and linguistic background. These children can be defined as immigrant, as refugees, as children who came with their families for relocation, as children who are growing up in the mixed marriage family. And this globalization in our countries in our current realities is growing and growing. So more and more children need to be addressed not as coming from host society, community, from socially dominant languages and cultures, but as children who are coming from diversity and diverse background that is different from mainstream education. In my talk today, I will address very important concept, theoretical and practical, both linguistical and culturally responsive teaching. I will talk about funds of knowledge, home-school partnership, and I will present an innovative project that is entitled City Speaks Languages, and this project promotes linguistically and culturally responsive teaching in early education. We will start from our main concept today. And what does it mean, linguistically and culturally responsive teaching? Current modern teachers need to be aware of linguistic diversity in the classroom. They need to be aware what languages are spoken in classroom. To what extent these languages are similar or different from language of the education, from the main language of the educational system in the target country. This concept is very important, not only for early education, but also for other levels of education. In addition, this concept is critical not only for teachers of languages, language teachers, or classroom teachers. It is critical also for teachers of math, sport, and other subjects at schools. And why? Teachers need to be aware that children who are coming from diverse backgrounds should to maintain their identity and to maintain their connection to their ethnic groups and roots, to their community. Teachers need to be aware how to connect children's home culture and linguistic knowledge to a subject, how to teach geography based on knowledge of teachers' home countries, of students' home countries, how to teach history based on knowledge of students' home countries' history, how to connect between knowledge that exists and accumulated at children's homes with the knowledge they acquire at schools within mainstream educational context, how to draw on this knowledge. And this connects us to the other concept critical in our understanding how to approach diversity in classroom. This concept is entitled as funds of knowledge. So we know that we as teachers, researchers, and children as our students bring knowledge, and they come with a background that is rich of domestic knowledge, values that are transmitted intergenerationally from one generation to another in their houses. They come with their treasure box, I call it treasure box, with their home experience, with their community experience. And this experience is powerful form of learning that increase students' motivation and academic achievements. Moreover, this experience is so significant to our understanding how to empower immigrant children, how to strengthen their belongingness to the host country community and to the mainstream education. So teachers need to take into account these funds of knowledge that is closely related to funds of children's identity. What is important to highlight that even teachers come with their funds of knowledge into classroom with their personal experience of immigration, or their personal experience of life and professional development. This knowledge they apply and realize into their practices, daily practices. And finally, I would like to address critical concept of home preschool partnership. We are talking about the need to consider and respect parents' wishes, parents' aspirations for their children. We know that parents' engagement in the educational system is critical for children's well-being, in particular in early childhood education and care. So we need to know about diversity and family's background. We need to know about values of parents. What are values they brought up? What are values they believe in? And what are values they transmit to their children? And we as educators, as teachers, principals, need to learn more about diverse cultures, values of families in order to create interaction, in order to create a feeling of belongingness among communities and children and their families. And now I would like to highlight that this unique and important view on children's background is a resourceable tool to promote their academic achievements as well. So what can we think about how to implement this concept of linguistically cultural diversity, how to translate this a concept that is theoretical concept into practice, how to create practices that will reflect on linguistic and cultural diversity in each classroom. Modern classroom, I'm talking about Western cultures, Western countries that are more than diverse, they are super diverse. So my example is example of my country. I live in Israel. Israel is multilingual and multicultural country with rich history and with linguistic situation that can be defined as complex and challenging. It is complex because we have one official language, Hebrew that was revitalized around 100 years ago, that became spoken language. And for many, many years, our language policy was to enhance Hebrew, to promote Hebrew on the expense of languages, other languages, languages of immigrants in particular. And then for many, many years, families lost their languages, their original languages. During last 30 years, we have other trend. We have turned from monolingual concept and monolingual promotion and claiming just Hebrew to multilingualism. It means that our Ministry of Education during the last 30 years encourages teachers to be aware of multilingual situation and to support maintenance of the home languages, to support intergenerational transmission of these languages. But teachers need time to realize these changes, need time to understand how they can implement this new policy in their classroom, not automatically, but through their reflections, critical approach to this new policy. So I turn back to the linguistic situation in Israel. It means that we have one state language, official language, and we have another language, Arabic, that is spoken by at least 25% of population and is language with special status. And we have English as a semi-official language. In addition, we have many languages of immigrants that are spoken in children's home. You can observe that this multilingual situation is expressed everywhere, is expressed in different titles and slogans. You can observe that in our country, you can find, for example, billboards with at least 5 languages. You can observe information and even up to 7 languages in some places, in some official offices, like National Security Office. So this information is written in 7 languages. But does it mean that our classroom teachers in early childhood education and care do implement linguistically and culturally diverse teaching? No, still not. It is a gap between the state language education policy and classroom, its classroom realization. So I'm going to present you how in one city, not central city, small, relatively small and peripheral, this new multilingual tone was realized by means of engagement, active engagement of the city's educational policymakers. The city is called Nofa Galil. The city context is amazing. City was established in 1954, and that was established as city of immigrants. In the city lives around 45,000 people, and most of them come from all over the world, from Ethiopia to India, from Canada to Australia. Many immigrants speak Russian as a home language, and in addition to this linguistic pseudophase, mosaics, there's also population speaking Arabic, there are around 30% of people, of families that speak Arabic at home. So this linguistic mosaics, diversity, is indeed enrich the city's peoplehood, but at the same time, it poses challenges for the educational system, because in many cases, teachers face lack of professional knowledge, how to approach this diversity, a lack of knowledge about linguistic and cultural responsive teaching, how to implement this concept of linguistic and cultural responsive teaching. And these teachers have a very high level of concern regarding children's progress in Hebrew as a socially dominant language, as a similar situation we can observe in other countries with the socially dominant languages that seems to be threatened by home languages. Teachers may perceive the situation as critical in terms of very, very slow progress of children in the socially dominant language. So this complexity created a picture of necessity to be actively engaged in changes in the classroom language policy within the background of the state language policy transmitting from monolingual towards evaluation and appreciation of children's linguistic and cultural background. And this situation created a need of active engagement of policymakers, of the city policymakers, and initiation of projects that will promote an implication of this concept, linguistically and culturally responsive teaching. So the city decided to approach academics, to approach us as researchers and teacher trainers in our college, and to raise a new project that will connect between academic knowledge, between theoretical and practical knowledge that is accumulated in academia, in teacher training courses, and connect this knowledge to the city's background and city's diversity, city's local needs. So I would like to stress that academic researchers and practitioners come not to impose some policy in the city, but to connect between theoretical knowledge and practical needs of the local community, of the local educational system. And first of all, it's very important to listen to teachers' voices and to parents' voices in order to understand what are real needs of this community, what real challenges that teachers daily face in meeting with linguistical and cultural diversity in the classroom. So there are three targets in this project. To raise awareness of the importance of relating to the children's heritage, language and culture, and to increase the sense of belonging among children and their families, and to improve the children's progress in this socially dominant language, Hebrew. And this project was intended to promote a holistic approach to the city's early childhood multilingualism policy. And now I would like to focus on who is responsible to this project from the city's authority. So this project was initiated by early childhood education policymakers, by Ministry of Education, by Ministry of Social Justice, and city invests huge amount of manpower and financial support to promote this project. This project is longitudinal. Today, we are near to finish the third year of this project. It was initiated during the pandemic period, and the situation limits our intervention. What is important to highlight also that it is a highly innovation project because it was initiated by policymakers, by teachers, by city government, and not just by academics. And this project is characterized by high level of commitment on behalf of policymakers. The project is entitled City Speaks Languages, and it started from creating an agency, collective agency group that is entitled Language Leading Group, and this group started from brief professional development. So what I would like to highlight in this context, that the project is based on the concept of agency, and agency in education, and agency of changes in education. Agency is not only awareness that we need to act as educators, it's also related to our capacity and self-efficacy to act as agents of change. So the target of this group, agency group, was to improve their own lives and affect larger contexts, educational contexts, in order to transform structures and cultures in the city. This collective agency of the city policymakers was expressed in their community of practice, in high level of commitment to preschool staff, teachers and teacher assistants, and their vision and aspiration to engage parents and to create healthful and efficient interactions between home and preschool. And in addition, this collective agency characterized by vision, dreams, and long-term expectation. In the last part of my talk today, I would like to illustrate to you some changes, practical initiatives that were taken in this project. So city policy makers, educators, and supervisors from the Ministry of Education and the local early childhood and education authority decided to create visibility of changes in the city. This, what I'm presenting now, this billboard presents the main slogan of this project: City Speaks Languages. The other one, this one, presents the second main slogan, main idea of this project: Language builds the future. And I'm showing now the very interesting idea of creating an exhibition and wall vocabulary in 5 languages, basic vocabulary that was initiated to ease communication between teachers, monolingual teachers, and children who speak Arabic, Mizo, or Russian in preschool. So these vocabularies were created for all around 60 preschools in the city. and teachers started actively to use these materials to communicate with children, to present, visualize diversity in classroom and children's languages. In addition, this municipality created games, multilingual games in 5 main languages. Children come and speak them at home. I would like also to address not only city policy makers' initiatives, but also initiatives that were created, raised by teachers themselves. For example, teachers created multilingual vocabularies by themselves, whole vocabularies. They created bilingual books for parents with transliteration of Hebrew text in the parents' languages, in the parents' scripts. In addition, teachers initiated to present themselves as bilingual and bicultural by themselves. They initiated modeling of their diversity, linguistical and cultural diversity. So now I would like to show you a brief illustration of how one teacher assistant celebrates her festival, SIGT, the festival of Jews who came from Ethiopia, and how she positions herself as multilingual and multicultural for children and shows her traditions, her funds of knowledge that she brought from your family. So 1 minute.
Shimala, Shimala, ሀገራችን ኢየሩሳሌም ዶና
So this video illustrated not only visual signs of culture, but also values that the teacher brings to the classroom, cultural and educational values, historical values of this community of immigrants. In addition, I would like to address such initiatives as creating, just a moment, as creating multilingual community library in 3 languages that is initiated by preschool children and prepared by preschool children. Children even constructed or suggested different rules how to use this library, and this legislation was written in 3 languages. Teachers also initiated booklet of multilingual all children games written in 3 languages, Hebrew, Arabic, and Russian. And based on this booklet, parents kept play with children these old games and use their heritage languages. So to summarize, I would like to highlight that this project learned us about importance of employment multilingual preschool teachers in public early childhood education and care settings. It learned us that we need to empower both teachers and families, and learned us about need to learn about teachers and parents' expectations, and the expectations about how preschool views engagement of parents, participation of parents. And this project learned us that we need to enhance the parents' leadership. The issue of parents' leadership is still our target to elaborate further in this project. We also learned about transformative thinking of teachers that is drawing on changes emerging from their own life experience and awareness of past mistakes. And we also learned that bottom-up language education policy initiatives, local initiatives, can be instrumental in achieving changes in educational beliefs and practices. Muchas gracias. Thank you very much. Toda raba. Большое спасибо. Шукран ктир.